Canvas for AI. AI Canvas. It's kind of on the nose for Tldraw. Let me show you some stuff. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Canvas agents. And I don't have much time, so I'm going to do a really quick run through a little bit of what we've done before with AI in Tldraw. So Tldraw is Tldraw. It is an application, free online whiteboard, but it is also an SDK that we sell to other companies, right? So there's a lovely relationship between all this stuff. So we have our Tldraw SDK used on Tldraw.com. We have our customers over here. But then we also do other things. And those other things sometimes feed into Tldraw.com, but they also sometimes feed into our customers. And then who knows what else they feed into. If you've been following Tldraw, you've probably seen demos and tweets and stuff like that. We do a lot with the canvas ourselves. And so the AI stuff is kind of like that stuff. Just as an example of what people do with the Tldraw SDK, they build websites like UX Pilot, I think Magic Path now, and also in New York. And we do fun stuff with it. So this is a little like shader demo of like, oh, hey, you could take the canvas background and replace it with cool graphical effects as well. And people have done that in different ways. But the AI stuff tends to be the more popular things. So it's a whiteboard like Canvas. You can do stuff with it. We do stuff with it. The really popular one that we did was called Make Real, where you could just draw a user interface and click a button, and it would make that interface as a website. And then you could also add annotations to that and say, hey, I want to make it so that when I click the continue button, it'll rotate in a ridiculous way, and then use that as the input for the next prompt. And sure enough, you have your spinning button. This went out in 2023. It was the first vibe coding tool. We invented it. No, it was fun. But people really lost their minds over this, of just like, wow, these vision models are so good. And I can go from this to this, click a button. Oh, this is wild. But we kept on working on it in different ways. Tldraw Computer is something that we put out last year. And this is where you can kind of build flows where the language model is used at every step in the flow. So I have my nice drawing of a cat. It created an image of a cat, and then it created a very, very bad 3D representation of the image. But you can do this. You can do a lot of stuff with this. So, for example, here's a really hard problem. But I'm going to kick off this workflow, and it's going to essentially do a agentic loop. It's going to say, like, here's the state. Here's the problem. Does the state contain the answer to the problem? And if not, generate a new state that is closer to answering the problem. And so, it went down the no path. And pretty soon we'll have one of these results. And then it'll loop. It'll kind of like continue until it decides the exit condition, which is yes, the state contains the answer to the question, summarize the result and put it out here. If it does, these things always take like 10 seconds longer than I thought they should. There you go. So it's a really simple way of using the model, but in a system which is really fun and kind of addictive as you build more complexity into these machines. But that is also not agents on a canvas. I'll show you agents on the canvas. So we had this idea that like it would be great to have a virtual collaborator in Tldraw. Like, what could be better than Canvas is a great place to collaborate with other people. It should also be a great place to collaborate with other non-people, other robots. And so in order to do that, we would need to have a model that could see the canvas, could act inside of the canvas, and that could do so pretty fast and pretty reliably. this was our first kind of attempt at this, which actually, to be honest, not that bad. Uh, this is not something that the models are particularly good at, but you can kind of see there, it's not making an image. It's making the same thing that I can draw. I can maybe beg it to tidy this up. Maybe we'll get it. But this was just prompting, right? It's like, here's the input, the state of the canvas, the user's request, produce the new output. Either delete shapes, create shapes, update shapes, and we'll see if it can actually tidy it. All right, whatever. It's not bad. But, I love the idea that short form videos as just more efficient videos, like we're just compressing things into 60 seconds. So now you don't have to watch too much videos, but of course, that's the paradox. We took this further and we built a cursor style agent. So unlike the previous example, which was like kind of a single shot every time, this now it does. I mean, I just copied Cursor's UI. It creates a to-do list. It works through that to-do list, and it produces changes, and then it'll actually review those changes as well. And as a result, even though we're still using pretty models that aren't specifically good at canvas stuff, it will kind of be better. It's still not there, but it's getting closer. Now, as much as I like Cursor and as much as I like having a big sidebar on the side of the screen, that's not really leaning into the canvas very much. The canvas itself is great for collaboration because it has all these affordances that just work well with collaboration. It has cursors flying around the canvas. It has, this ability to zoom out, the ability to have multiple groups of people or multiple people working on the canvas in different places. And that they're working together because they're kind of like in the same area of the canvas. If you've ever been in a big Miro file or a big Figma file, like you'll kind of see it's the reason why these tools are so popular. So we wanted that too. And that took us to, we're not quite there yet with these agents, right? They're not really virtual collaborators. They're kind of like, number one, they're evidently not human. There's something else. They're not really like, they don't really work for you. They kind of work with you. I don't know how to say that. But if you've done a lot of coding tools, agentic coding, things like that, it's pretty clear that this isn't another developer. It's just something. So we decided to go with fairies. They're mischievous. They're not quite human, but they're good, but they're not. They don't work for you. They're just there. You're a curiosity. So how does this work? Well, this is very hot off the presses, but we'll see. Where's my Jevons diagram of Jevons paradox that relates to TikTok? Let's go. I'll do this on a new page. Fingers crossed. Where's my fairy? So a few things. I think it's for agents on the canvas, you have a couple of you get some things for free. Number one, you can kind of scan their state. Are they thinking? Are they working? What are they working on? What are they doing next? What are they paying attention to? Because they'll do this. They'll think. They'll act. Their wings will flap or whatever when they are when they're drawing, and then they'll, I don't know. You can imagine them being happy when they finish. I'm trying to hire an animator at the moment. If you know anyone good, let me know. But on the other hand, you can kind of just grab them and move them around just like anything else. That's pretty good. Make it funnier. And this is it's a conversation. It's a back and forth, just like the agent, except it's here on the canvas. The other benefit of this type of way of working, I'm going to kind of I realize I can't change pages, otherwise it'll lose its context. Just check for right. That's not bad. That's pretty funny. Good times, good times. Let me see. Where are we? I think we were somewhere over here. No, these are all the slides that the fairy did for me. Where am I? One of these is fun, but like if you've ever tried to manage a whole bunch of, I'm out. More fairies are better. So next year I'll come back. There'll be more fairies, more collaborators, and maybe we'll get into some of the MCP stuff as well. That's Tldraw. That's Agents on the Canvas. It's early days, but it is it's got a long way to go. So I'm Steve, Tldraw. Follow us on Twitter. You'll be able to play with this stuff by the end of the year. I promise. Cool.